The aim or essence of every business is to make profit, and poultry production, being it broiler or layer, is not an exception. With so many farms shutting down and so many intended farmers getting scared of going into poultry production due to rising cost of poultry feed, it is necessary for us to learn how to cut costs in poultry production to remain afloat and continue to make huge profit in these ventures. We all know that approximately 70 to 75% of the total production cost are attributed to feed expenses, that is feed cost. But what if I tell you that there is a proven way you can reduce this feed cost by 40 to 50% and still achieve maximum production at harvest? This is the secret that makes most experienced farmers to still keep farming even when the prices of feed are on the high side. The secret is in formulating your own feed. In this video today, I'll be showing you with a working formula how you can formulate your own broiler finisher feed. I will also be giving you the cost per kilogram of each of the feed ingredients we'll be using today. And to crown it all, I'll be showing you how to use this feed for your broilers for maximum weight gain. Welcome to Farmbiz with Markay. In this channel, we show you how to maximize profit in farming through creativity. And if you are new to this channel, kindly do well to hit the subscribe button. To formulate or produce a balanced feed, being it starter, grower, finisher, or layers feed for your chicken, you need 6 main classes of feed, that is energy source, protein source, fat and oil, mineral source, vitamin source, and feed additive. You need these 6 classes of feed to formulate a balanced feed for your birds. The first, which is an energy source, makes up more than 50% of most feed. Grains like maize, wheat, guinea corn, and cassava give chicken the carbohydrate they need, that is the energy they need. Agro-industrial product and byproduct like indomie waste, macaroni, biscuits, wheat flour, semo, spaghetti are also a good source of carbohydrate for chicken. So you can exploit this aspect as well. The second class of feed ingredient is the protein source, which is important for growth and egg production. There are 2 major sources of protein for chicken. Number 1 is the plant source, which includes soya bean meal, soya bean cake, full fat soya, groundnut cake, cottonseed cake, sunflower meal, cassava leaf meal, sunflower cake, etc. We also have the animal source, which includes fish meal, and this is very popular when it comes to poultry feed production. We have the local and the imported ones. We also have the meat meal, the meat or bone meal, that is meat and bone meal rather. We have the blood meal as one of the protein source for poultry feed production. We also have the poultry meal. We have the feather meal. We have maggot meal, cockroach meal. Now, I need you to note something here. Animal protein is more digestible compared to plant protein, but costly. You need to take note of this. Now, the third source is fat and oil. Example include soya oil, palm oil, lard, fish oil, full fat soya, groundnut oil, etc. Again, I need you to note something here. Fat and oil also supply energy, but you should be very, very careful. You should not use it too much because of rancidity. You need to take this into consideration. The fourth and the fifth source is the vitamins and minerals, which help keep chicken healthy. Most important of them all is the premise. We have the broiler premise, the layers premise. We have all of them in there. When you go to feed shop, they have all of them. You just decide on which one to buy and they will give it to you. We also have the salt lick, vegetables, fruit, limestone, oyster shell, dicalcium phosphate. The last class, which is the 6th one or source, is the feed additive. Now, I know you must have heard of some toxin binder, lysine, methionine, and all of that. So these are feed additives. Now, feed additives are ingredients that are added in feed, especially in minute quantity, in very small quantity, to perform a specific function. This includes methionine, like I said, lysine, colorant, toxin binder, vitamins, minerals, feed binder, enzymes, probiotic, antibiotics, prebiotics, acidifier, organic acid, and essential oil, and a whole lot more. Now, in our feed formulation today, the ingredients we'll be making use of are maize. We'll need maize as our energy source. We also need the soya bean meal, the groundnut cake as our protein source. Now we'll also be needing the bone meal, the limestone, toxin binder, salt, lysine, methionine, and broiler premix. So these are the feed ingredients we'll be needing for this our broiler finisher feed that will be mixed in today or producing. Now the first thing you need to know before formulating feed for your birds is the energy and crude protein requirement for your birds. This is very important. Now you don't just wake up and start mixing feed for your birds. Otherwise, it will not meet the aim of the aim for which you miss that feed. Now, for broilers finisher, the crude protein is between 18 to 20%. Why? This is what you normally see when you see some branded feed. You see CP, they will put the percentage there. You see the energy, they will put it there. You see the fiber content, the fat content, and a whole lot more information about such feed that you are buying. Now, why the energy requirement is between 2,900 kilocalorie to 3,200 kilocalories. So you need to have this at the back of your mind before formulating finisher feed for your broilers. Now we also need to know that there are variable and fixed ingredients when it comes to feed formulation. Now by variable ingredients, I mean these are the ingredients or feedstuff that can be adjusted before you reach the requirement you need. While the fixed ingredients are those ingredients that are hardly adjusted. Examples of such ingredient, which example of fixed ingredient is the lysine, methionine, toxin binder, and premix. Now, before you go further, there are rules of thumb when it comes to formulating feed. You don't just formulate, like I said, that you must follow while formulating feeds for your birds. This include, number one, the feed must meet the nutrient requirement of your birds. This is very important. The crude protein and the energy requirement, your feed formulation must meet those figures. Now, the second thing you need to know, the second rule of thumb is that you must make use of multi-ingredients. You can't just bring one corn and assume that corn alone is going to meet the needs of the birds. No. Now, the third rule of thumb you must know is that the feed must have a good shelf life. You won't just produce feed today. By tomorrow or next, the feed has got spoiled. No. So it should be able to stay for like 2-3 months without having any issue, without having any mold growing from the feed. So that is also one of the rule of thumb you should take note of. Now, the fifth one, which is the fifth rule of thumb you must adhere to, is that the feed must be economical and cost effective. Just because I want to formulate feed for my birds because I want to cut cost, it shouldn't mean I should go and spend more in buying these feed ingredients before using it for my birds. If that's the case, I should stick to branded feed. If that's the case, but that is not the case. I will explain everything to you later on in this video. Now, the sixth rule of thumb which you must adhere to when you are formulating feed is that the feed must contain both variable and fixed ingredients. I explain what variable ingredients are. I also explain what fixed ingredients are. Now, the last rule of thumb, which is the seventh one, is that you must avoid using spoiled feed stuff to prevent feed poisoning. You won't just see any infested feed, for instance, infested corn or infested soya bean meal. You say, oh, since this one is a waste, sort of, let me make use of it to formulate feed for my birds. No, you don't do that. You must make use of a good quality feed to formulate your feed. Okay, now for this our broiler finisher formulation, our variable ingredients will contribute about 92%. They will contribute 92%. That is the protein, our protein ingredient and the energy giving ingredient. They are going to give us 92%. That is protein and energy sources. I've explained that. Now, our fixed ingredient will contribute the remaining 8%. Now, it's always so in most of the feed formulation, whether being it a starter, grower, or finisher. Now, our first ingredient, like I said, we contribute the remaining 8%. That is, when you add 92% plus 8%, this already gives us 100%, meaning we have met the third rule of thumb there, which says the feed must be 100%. We will be using maize as our energy source because that is the most commonly used energy source for poultry feed. Poultry feed production, though I said that there are other alternatives you could use, like the Indomie waste, biscuit waste. If you have access to those ones, and if they are cheaper, you can as well make a good use of them. But in the area where I live, we don't have access to that, so I have to make do with what I have, which is the corn. So that will contribute 62%. And the protein source we'll be making use of is soya bean meal, which I stated earlier, and that will give us 20%, and granite cake, which will give us 10%. Now, when you add this together, you already have that 92%, which is the energy source and the protein source I talked of earlier. Now, these two ingredients will contribute the 30%. That is 30 plus 62 will give us the 92% I talked about. Now, for our first ingredient, we'll be using bone meal, 0.25% of bone meal. Now, for the limestone, we'll be making use of 4.4% limestone. Now, for the lysine, remember we are dealing with the first ingredient now. For the lysine, we will be using 0.2%. Then methionine will be using 0.2%. Premise, that is broiler finisher premise, will be using 0.35%. Then we also need to add some level of salt. But for that, we'll be using 0.25%. Now, toxin binder, I need to add it to it. In case there is any other thing that will make our feed not to be effective, this toxin binder will help us take care of that. Now, that's the purpose of this. So remember, it is added in a very minute quantity. You can see it is the lowest percentage there right now, 0.1%. Now, as an example, in this video that I'll be using, we'll be missing 100 kilogram of feed. Let's see how this is going to come out for us. Now, we'll be making use of yellow maize, yellow corn. Now, remember, we are taking 62%. If we are producing 100 kilogram, that means we'll be using 62 kilogram. That is 62% of 100, which gives us 62 kg. Now, for the soya bean meal, we'll be using 20 kilogram. The granite cake, it will be 10 kilogram because it's 10% of 100. Now, the bone meal, we'll be using 2.5 kilogram. The limestone, 4.5 kilogram. The lysine, 0.2 kilogram. Methionine, 0.2 kilogram. Then premise, the broiler finisher premise, will be using 0.35 kilogram. Salt, 0.25 kilogram. And then toxin binder, 0.1 kilogram. Now, how do you mix all these ingredients? Having bought all of them, you have them at your disposal. How do you mix them? Now, to mix them, you need to start with the first ingredient. Don't just start with the variable ingredient first. No. Now, for the first ingredient, you start with the lowest, the one that contributes the lowest percentage. In this case, that is the toxin binder, which is the 0.1%. That is 0.1 kilogram. You mix that with any other one, maybe methionine, lysine, bone meal, then the premise, and all of that. When you are done mixing the first ingredient, you now move to the next ingredient. That is the variable ingredient. You could start with the granite cake, then mix with the soya bean meal, then finally mix with the corn, the 62 kilogram of corn. Now, ensure you mix them together properly. This is very, very important. You need to have a uniform mixture. This is very, very important. Now, after mixing all of them together, preferably on a clean floor so that you don't invite foreign materials into your feed. This is very, very important. Now, you don't just use any material you see to do the mixture. No, ensure everything you use here is clean and very neat. This is very, very important. Now, if you have a pelletizing machine, having mixed all the ingredients together, then you can pelletize the feed so that it will not be in the pellet form. Now, if you don't have the pelletizing machine, you can serve them directly to your birds, and it will still do the same job. But you just have to note one thing. When they want to grind these ingredients for you in the feed mill or where you are buying the ingredients, you need to tell them that what you are the type of feed you want to formulate, whether it's grower or starter or finisher, so that they will know how to adjust the engine to that to meet that need. But for finisher, they will adjust the engine to some level so that you have some seed after grinding the ingredient. Now, how has this formulation helped us to cut down our feed cost? Let's see how much each of these ingredients cost as at the time of recording this video, and compare them with some branded feed around. Now, for the yellow corn, as at the time of recording this video, it's been sold at 360 naira per kilogram. That is for the 62 kilogram will be we used for our mixture. We'll be spending 22,320 naira for those for that 62 kg of corn. Now, we also the soya bean meal is being sold today at the rate of 550 naira per kilogram. Now, for the 20 kilogram that we used, it will now multiply 20 kilogram by 550. That gives us 11,000 naira. For the groundnut cake, it's being sold today at the rate of 450 naira per kilogram. Now, for the 10 kilogram we used, we'll now be spending 4,500 naira for that 10 kilogram of groundnut cake that we made use of. Now, bone meal as at today is being sold 250 naira per kg. That means for the 2.5 kilogram of bone meal we made use of, we spent 625 naira for the bone meal. Now for the limestone, it's being sold for 70 naira per kilogram as at today. Now that means we'll be spending about 308 naira for the limestone. Now for the lysine, per kilogram is sold 5,000 naira per kilogram. That means for the 0.2 kilogram that we made use of to formulate our 100 kg kilogram of feed, we spent 1,000 naira on our lysine. While for methionine, it's being sold 8,000 naira per kilogram as at today. But what we made use of was 0.2 kilograms. So that gives us 1,600 naira that we spent on methionine. Now the broiler finisher premise is being sold at 4,200 per kilogram as at today, as at the time of recording this video. So for the 0.2 kilogram that we made use of, that means we spent 1,470 naira on our broiler finisher premise. Now the salt we made use of is being sold at the rate of 400 naira per kilogram. That means we spent 100 naira on salt that we used for this 100 kg feed. Now the toxin binder, it is being sold at the rate of 3,000 naira per kilogram. We only needed 0.1 kilogram, meaning if we spent 300 naira on toxin binder for this our feed formulation. Now when you add all this amount together, this gives us a total of 43,223 naira per 100 kilogram of feed. Per 100 kilogram of feed. This means we'll be spending about 10,806 naira per 25 kg bag of feed. I need you to reason this properly. I need you to look at it properly. When you add all this amount together, we will arrive at 43,223 naira per 100 kg. Now, in our country today, a bag of feed is being, the weight of one bag of feed is 25 kilogram. That means we are spending 10,806 naira per 25 kilogram of feed. Now, how has this reduced our cost of feed? As at the time of recording this video, the cost of the professional feed I normally make use of is 23,500 per bag. While another brand of professional feed, which is also a very good one, is being sold at the rate of 20,580 naira. Now you can see I have saved about 12,694 naira or 9,774 naira, depending on the one I'm comparing it with now, per 25 kg of feed. Now multiply this by the number of bags of finisher feed you will need to raise your birds to maturity. Can you see how much you have saved? This is the secret most farmers will never tell you in these ventures. Now you have produced this feed, you have it in your store already. Now, how do you raise your birds with this feed and still achieve maximum weight gain? First of all, what you need to do, remember the only class of feed or type of feed we produce in this video today is just the finisher. We can't just use finisher to raise our birds from the beginning to disposal. No. Now, to start off your birds, now how do you use this feed for them and to achieve maximum weight? First of all, you need to start off your chicks, that is from day 1, with professional feed from day 1 to day 28. And then switch to this home mix feed, the feed we just produced now, fully from day 29. You start switching from day 26. Now, I have about 2 or 3 videos in my channel that shows you how to switch feed gradually from starter to finisher. So is there the details, everything, what you need to do is explain, everything is in there. You start switching from day 26. This is the way their weight will be maximized. That is all I have for you today. If you find this video helpful, as a way to say thank you, kindly hit the subscribe button, like and comment in the comment section below, as this will help us to reach a larger audience and grow this channel. Happy poultry farming. Thank you.